The desk lamp cast a warm glow on Michael's tired face. Papers piled high, each one a testament to his dedication. He was a man driven, determined to provide for his family. His son Ethan peeked in, his small face a mix of curiosity and hesitation.
Dad, are you busy?
He asked tentatively. Michael sighed, the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders.
Yes, Ethan, very busy.
He replied, his voice laced with fatigue. He knew he should make time for his son, but the deadlines loomed large. Work seemed never-ending, a constant pressure he couldn't escape. He glanced at Ethan, hoping he'd understand. Ethan lingered for a moment, his gaze shifting from his father's tired eyes to the overflowing paperwork. He wanted to talk, to share his day, but the message was clear. Dad was busy. Disappointment clouded his young features as he turned and walked away, his small shoulders slumping. Michael watched him go, a pang of guilt twisting in his gut. He wished things were different, that he could push aside the work and focus on his son. But responsibility called, and Michael, a captive to its demands, turned back to his desk, the echo of Ethan's retreating footsteps, a stark reminder of the precious moments slipping away. The next day, Ethan approached his father again, this time with a newfound determination in his eyes. Michael was on a call, his voice sharp with stress, as Ethan tugged at his sleeve.
Dad, how much do you make an hour?
Michael frowned, irritated by the interruption.
Ethan, not now. Can't you see I'm on the phone?
He muttered, waving his hand dismissively. He returned to his conversation, his words clipped and professional, while Ethan stood there, his question hanging in the air. Undeterred, Ethan waited patiently for his father to finish the call. The moment Michael hung up, Ethan repeated his question, his voice small but persistent.
How much do you make an hour?
Michael, his patience wearing thin, snapped back.
Why do you want to know that?
He regretted his harsh tone immediately, but the damage was done. Ethan's eyes welled up, but he stood his ground.
Because I want to buy an hour of your time.
He whispered, his voice thick with emotion. The words hung in the air, a poignant reminder of what truly mattered. Michael froze, his anger dissolving into a wave of shame and regret. Ethan's words struck Michael like a physical blow. His son, his own flesh and blood, felt the need to buy his time. The realization hit him with the force of a runaway train. He had become so consumed by his work, by his desire to provide, that he had neglected the most precious thing in his life, his family. His anger, a shield against his own failings, crumbled, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. Ethan's hurt expression mirrored the pain in his own heart. He had failed as a father, prioritizing deadlines and meetings over bedtime stories and shared laughter. The weight of his mistake pressed down on him, suffocating him with guilt and remorse.
Ethan,
He began, his voice choked with emotion. Words failed him. What could he say to erase the hurt he had caused? He reached out a hand, but Ethan, his small face etched with disappointment, turned and walked away, leaving Michael alone with the bitter taste of regret. As Ethan's retreating figure disappeared down the hallway, Michael felt a wave of nausea wash over him. The papers on his desk, once symbols of his success, now mocked him with their insignificance. He had allowed his ambition to blind him to what truly mattered. He had been a fool. Ethan retreated to his room, his heart heavy with disappointment. He had been saving for weeks, carefully putting aside every penny from his allowance and the occasional tooth fairy visit. He had envisioned spending an hour with his dad, just the two of them, doing something fun, something special. He pulled out his little piggy bank, its colorful paint chipped with love. It held all his treasures, a mismatched collection of coins and crumpled dollar bills. He counted it carefully, his brow furrowed in concentration. It wasn't much, but it represented weeks of sacrifice, weeks of foregoing candy and small toys. Each coin held the weight of his desire to spend time with his father, to feel the warmth of his attention, to share a laugh and create a memory. He longed for the days when his dad would play catch with him in the backyard or read him bedtime stories until his eyelids grew heavy. Now, it seemed, those days were gone, replaced by a never-ending cycle of work calls and late nights. A single tear rolled down Ethan's cheek as he clutched the piggy bank to his chest. It wasn't about the money, he realized. It was about the time, the attention, the love that seemed to be slipping away. Later that evening, Michael found Ethan curled up on his bed, his piggy bank clutched tightly in his arms. The sight of his son, so small and vulnerable, shattered Michael's heart. He knelt beside the bed and gently brushed a stray strand of hair from Ethan's forehead.
Ethan, I'm so sorry for the way I acted earlier. I was wrong to speak to you like that.
Ethan looked up at his father, his eyes red-rimmed but hopeful.
You're more important than any work, any deadline. You are my priority, and I promise to do better.
He reached out and took the piggy bank from Ethan's grasp, gently prying open the bottom.
How much do you have saved up, son?
Ethan looked up at him, confusion clouding his features.
It's not about the money, Dad. I just want to spend time with you.
Michael's heart swelled with love and gratitude. He gathered Ethan into his arms, holding him tight.
I know, son, I know, and I promise, from now on we'll make time for each other. No more excuses.
That night, Michael put away his work and turned his full attention to Ethan. They played board games, read stories, and talked until Ethan's eyelids drooped with sleep. As Michael tucked his son into bed, Ethan looked up at him, his eyes shining with happiness.
Dad, that was the best hour ever.
Michael smiled, his heart full. He realized that no amount of success, no amount of money, could ever compare to the love and laughter he shared with his son. From that day forward, Michael made a conscious effort to prioritize his family. He set aside time each day for Ethan, whether it was reading together, playing catch in the park, or simply talking about their day. He learned that true success wasn't measured by the size of his paycheck, but by the love and laughter that filled his home. The experience taught Michael a valuable lesson, a lesson that no spreadsheet or business deal could ever teach him. It taught him the importance of family, the irreplaceable nature of time, and the profound truth that the greatest wealth is measured in love, not dollars.